So you guys know that I love wrestling, but another passion that I have that you may or may not know about is fitness and health and wellness. I think it's extremely important. And I recently found this website. It's 99 SARMs. It's 99SARMS.com. So what exactly is on this website? Well, it's got some awesome products. Everything to help you with cognition, to mood and focus, to your workouts. It has anti-aging and recovery, GH peptides, and some awesome products to help you with building muscle or burning fat. Check out 99SARMS.com. That's 99SARMS.com. These products have been rated top-notch. They will help you get results quickly and safely, more importantly. So check out 99SARMS.com. It'll help you reach the impossible that you didn't think you could reach. It's the highest in purity and above all high-quality products. So check out 99SARMS.com today. Omino, OHMINO. What is it? It's the next generation in performance supplements. It's an all-natural workout supplement that activates muscle synthesis. It's 11 times more effective than protein powders in stimulating muscle gain and 20 times more effective than BCAAs. It is dairy-free, animal-free, sugar-free, carb-free, calorie-free, and non-GMO. Go to omino.com. That's OHMINO.com. Use the promo code MATT and you'll get 25% off of your first order. That's, again, promo code MATT, and you'll get 25% off your first order. Omino is delicious. It's got a tropical splash flavor that's crisp, clean, and you won't bloat like protein powders. It also includes 4 electrolytes to keep you hydrated and at your best. It's even backed up by a 110% satisfaction guarantee. Yeah, I didn't misspeak. 110% satisfaction guarantee. That means you can even send the empty bottle back and receive 110% of your money back. So, guys, check out omino.com, OHMINO.com. It's the secret insiders use and pros use to get that edge. Go to omino.com and put in that promo code MATT, M-A-T-T, to get 25% off your first order today.
Welcome to the WWE Podcast. Your place for the most passionate wrestling analysis on the web.
Just turn Roman heel. What is WWE waiting for?
When other wrestling podcasts put you to sleep, you can count on the WWE Podcast to keep you engaged and asking for more.
I've been watching wrestling for over 20 years, and that was one of the best matches I've ever seen.
If you're easily offended, this may not be the show for you.
Whatever happened to the men being able to physically retaliate against the women in WWE? This is a fantasy environment.
This is unlike any other wrestling analysis. So without any further delay, let's get the show started right now.
Guys, welcome to the WWE Podcast. I am live on Blog Talk Radio, taking your calls, your thoughts, and giving you some of mine on this very late into the evening and now early morning of Monday morning at about 12:30. WrestleMania went off the air about 5-10 minutes ago, and I got a lot to talk about, a lot to give you guys my thoughts on. If you are interested in giving me a call, you can do that at 657-383-1704. If you do that and you want to be a part of the conversation, you got to press 1 on your phone and you will be added to the caller queue. So, guys, thank you for joining me. WrestleMania 35 is in the books, and long show. It was a show that, I'll be honest, did not provide a lot of ooh and ah, did not provide any moments where I really stood up and got out of my seat or off my couch in this case. And I thought overall it was just a solidly booked show with little surprises, but the right decisions made. And sometimes that's not a bad thing. I think that most of the right decisions that should have been made were made almost across the board. I mean, the pre-show is what it is. I don't really have a whole lot to say about that. I mean, Tony Nese becomes Cruiserweight champion. Okay. I mean, it's fine with me as far as getting the title off of Buddy Murphy. I mean, maybe it is time. And so, yeah, but moving to the main card, I really thought that most matches were correctly booked. Now, the Seth Rollins-Brock Lesnar match, which I thought was surprisingly short. I know that I'm supposed to just take Brock Lesnar's matches and throw away the normal WWE narrative of what a WWE match is. I get all that. But it was surprisingly short. It was the right outcome, as I said, with Seth Rollins winning. But I wasn't particularly a fan of it. And if you're going to pay Brock Lesnar all of this money, get your money's worth, WWE. Vince, more specifically, get your money's worth. If you really want to take Brock Lesnar and make the most of him, get your money's worth. And right now, I don't think WWE is. And I would say WWE would be better off without Brock Lesnar at this point. I think that they should kind of go their separate ways for a time. Let Brock be Brock and do what he wants to do. Let WWE be WWE. I don't think they are putting any more eyeballs on the product by having Brock Lesnar show up once every 3 months. I really don't. And having an absentee champion, I don't believe any of that. And when he does show up, you have Brock put these performances together that are just, yeah, they're different, and it's Brock, so he's supposed to feel different. He's a UFC star. Well, so is Ronda Rousey, and look what we got there, a typical WWE match. I mean, it really was. And I'll get to that match in just a second, too. But first, guys, thank you for joining me. It is early Monday morning. Early Monday morning. I am struggling to stay awake, but I will for you guys and for giving you some of my thoughts, preliminary thoughts on WrestleMania as it just closed moments ago. I'll be doing a more in-depth review later this week, but this is kind of the knee-jerk reaction. Haven't heard any analysis, haven't read any opinions, instant, in real-time reactions, and live. We're live, folks, so if I trip up on my words, if I say a cuss word, it's all there. It's all there. So this is a live show as live can be. So, but again, I do a podcast twice a week. Try to do it 3 times where, I'll review Raw and SmackDown, and I do a what if and or wrestling nostalgia segment where I go over the wrestling's past. So thank you guys for joining me and taking the time. I know there's a lot of other shows out there that are taking advantage of WrestleMania weekend, and rightfully so. Biggest wrestling weekend of the year. So a lot to talk about there. Obviously, the Hall of Fame with that clown attacking Bret Hart. I really don't want to give too much attention to that, and people are asking what my thoughts are. And look, by spending time on it, you're giving that clown, that's the best way I can say that in a public forum, but think about privately what we're all saying. That's what I'm thinking. I'm not giving that clown any time on this show, and I know that by talking about it right now, I'm giving him time on the show, so I get it's kind of a oxymoron by saying that. I get it, but what I will just say is that clown got what he deserved. He got a couple of punches, real punches in his face. He deserved every single one of them. I hope that WWE prosecutes him to the full extent of the law. They're going to get him with trespassing and assault. They should. All of it, and it's embarrassing. It's attention starved. I don't care, whatever excuse he may have, even if it's a mental illness. There's no excuse for this. I mean, use your heads. And so I hope that just clown. I can't say any other word than clown because I will come up with some kind of curse word. And let's move on from that because that's all the time I'm going to give to that jerk on this show. So guys, this is the post-WrestleMania 35 show, and 657-383-1704 is that number if you so desire to get on the air and chat with me, or you can obviously get into a chat. I just, as I'm speaking, hang on, bear with me, I am creating a chat room as we speak. So for those of you who may not want to get on the air and you're not interested in talking, but you want to interact, I'm opening up a chat room as well on the Blog Talk Radio site where you guys can chat with me and ask me questions. You know, moving down the line here, though, I really, really was pleasantly satisfied with WrestleMania without actually coming away from it super excited. I think that, as I said, the overall theme here, and I applaud WWE for this, they booked everything, at least in my opinion, and I think the majority of fans' opinions, the right way. They put a smile on most of our faces, which is what we're supposed to do at WrestleMania. I also believe that the Kofi Kingston match, at the conclusion of that match, I think the fans were spent. There was a turning point after that match where everything else following it just had no energy. It had very little energy from the audience, and even in the main event with the triple threat with the women, it just felt like all of the oxygen and energy that the fans had went to Kofi Kingston and went to his win and his victory, because the fans were so emotionally drained after his win that it just became kind of like going through the motions at that point. And I tweeted it out as I was watching, after the Daniel Bryan Kofi match, which was the match of the night, and I thought it would be. It really just felt like everything else after that. I said that I don't envy the person. I feel bad for the person or persons who are going to be following this match. And so we didn't get any Rock. We didn't get any Austin. Kind of disappointed there. We got Elias with the interruption. And that interruption was from none other than John Cena. Well, be more specific here, the Doctor of Thugonomics a la 2002. Look, out of all the options that who could have interrupted Elias, there's no doubt that John Cena is the most boring option you could have had. It's just a fact. Number one, you don't want to know why? Well, because John Cena had already interrupted Elias a number of months ago. Like, it's happened before. So, for us to pretend that we've never seen this before is just a flat-out lie. I mean, we've seen it before. We've seen this dance before with John Cena. However, with the Doctor of Thugonomics interrupting, that was a nice little twist that I did not see coming. I did not see the Doctor of Thugonomics taking himself out there and really just putting on the old school hat and not missing a beat with that gimmick. I mean, it's been 17 years. 17 years with the Doctor of Thugonomics since we've seen it. And let's be honest, he knocked it out of the park. I mean, John Cena is one of the best promos ever in the history of WWE. Rarely forgets a line. Always makes you believe that when he does read a line, he's not actually reading it. It's just coming from his mind. It's great. His delivery is great. It was nice to see him in a hat so we didn't have to see his hair. I can't get over his hair. It's just too much. So it was nice to see that as well. Bit disappointed it wasn't The Rock or Austin. It was John Cena, Doctor of Thugonomics, and we'll all live with it and move on with our lives. So let's talk about the women's main event, because the highly anticipated triple threat, and it was, I think, good. I don't think it really knocked anything out of the park. I don't think it exceeded expectations, and I don't know how fair that is to think that it could have anyway, because of the fact that how could it have? I mean, the expectations were so high to begin with. It's not a fair assessment to believe that that match could have exceeded expectations. It's just not fair. And I think that, again, the match was solid. The competitors were good. Becky Lynch and Ronda I really didn't think, and this is what surprised me the most, that Ronda was going to be the one to take the fall. But now that I look back on it, if you're going to have Becky Lynch move forward from this, and Ronda's going to go off and have a family or whatever she's doing, assuming that she's taking time off, I think that is the right way to do it, to add credibility to her win, and it wasn't Ronda Rousey having the argument that you didn't beat me and all that. But Charlotte could have that argument too, that you never beat me and now you have my championship. I just hope it's now not another 4 months of Ronda Charlotte. I really hope so. And more importantly, how does WWE move forward with this, with the dual championships? Do you unify them? Does Becky move on from one brand to the other? Does she have 2 matches per pay-per-view? This is going to be real questions moving down the line. But as far as tonight went, or the last 15 minutes 15 minutes ago when we went off the air, I think that it was a match that, again, was, I hate to say underwhelming. I really, really do, because it was a very good match. It just didn't blow me away. It simply didn't blow me away. And to say I was disappointed, I feel bad saying that, but I'm kind of disappointed. Ronda never tapped, so they protected her in that way, which I guess makes sense. But you have this match end in a backslide roll-up. I mean, think about that. You have this match that was built for months and months and months and months, and in a backslide. Almost, I don't want to say fluke win, but they kind of they kind of left you feeling that way. That Becky Lynch won, she beat Ronda, but it was kind of you could make the argument it was kind of a fluke win. Ronda seemed surprised. She was shocked that her shoulders were down to the mat for 3 seconds. It just felt a little fluky, and I didn't want to feel that way with Becky Lynch. And so that part of it made me a little bit leery of this whole outcome. I'll be honest. I mean, the more I'm talking about it, the more I'm really not impressed with the match itself, the layout. Again, the outcome makes sense. The outcome was the right outcome. Becky Lynch wins. The lasting image, Becky Lynch holding up both championships, makes sense. I think that was the right move and the only move. The only move. Not that I think the crowd would have even had the energy to riot, but it's the right move in the right place at the right time. Just the way that it was done. I don't know. I would have had it done a little bit more definitively with Becky Lynch and Ronda, and I know that this again is supposed to establish credibility, but I just would have had it done differently. It felt too fluky for me to really grab onto the badass that Becky Lynch has now morphed into. So, all right. So a little bit more thoughts here on Angle, who had his final match. Everything went as booked. It was as booked, as advertised, Baron Corbin and Kurt Angle. And I thought that this was, Kurt Angle looked better, at least better in the respect, in the perspective that he has over the last month or two. Really, since he started wrestling on Raw and SmackDown, he's probably looked the best that he has since then. I think he laid it all out there. He was trying to be the Kurt Angle of old. I respect that. There was even that tease and kind of F you to fans with the you can't see me from Baron Corbin. But basically WWE publicly acknowledging that, hey, yeah, we knew you wanted Cena, but we're going to give you Corbin. I don't know. Again, I don't know why Cena was not selected and it was Baron Corbin. I don't know why. That to me is a bit of a puzzler. You could have had John Cena to come out and easily hold up his end of the bargain for that match. Nobody would expect a 5-star classic from those two. It would have just been a much more suitable way to have Kurt Angle ride off into the sunset. Baron Corbin is no slouch, but at the same time, he's not even in the same stratosphere as John Cena or Kurt Angle. Not even close. So it didn't do Kurt Angle any favors. However, I was convinced, and you guys can go listen to my show that I did with my two co-hosts last week, and I said that if Baron Corbin is indeed the opponent, that he will probably win, and he did. Why? Because we saw on Raw the image we wanted to see, which was Baron Corbin tapping to the ankle lock on the top of the ramp. So we got the image we wanted to see, and I knew we weren't going to get it at WrestleMania, and we didn't. It was Baron Corbin going over. Now Baron Corbin can build off of this. I mean, nobody should really be surprised here. I mean, they had people shocked in the audience. Why? Why are you shocked? This is not Kurt Angle of 2002, 2003. This is Kurt Angle of 2019, folks. 2019. And if you followed wrestling's history, guys that are on their way out, whether it's because they're retiring, whether it's because they're just moving on to a different career in their life, the old school mentality is leaving does the job for the individuals that are staying. I mean, so I'm not surprised, and I would have been kind of shocked had Kurt Angle won, because now Baron Corbin has something to build off of. Baron Corbin has something he can brag about for the rest of his career. And for whatever reason, Vince McMahon is extremely high on Baron Corbin. I mean, you see it week after week. He's built very strong in every match he's in, despite wearing kind of a vest and slacks. I mean, it's bizarre that he still wears that and thinks that that's, good for competing in the ring. But nonetheless, you have Baron Corbin who can brag about this the rest of his career. So it makes complete sense to me that you have Baron Corbin win against Kurt Angle and be able to use it for his entire career. I actually understand it. And for those of you that don't, you probably haven't been watching wrestling that long. I mean, not to be, nasty, but you probably haven't. I mean, the people that were shocked in the audience, I don't know why you're shocked. Unless they just had people that are plants that just go, okay, guys, now we're going to hire you, and you're going to be planted throughout the audience fairly close to the front row. And when Kurt Angle loses, I want you to act like it is the most upsetting thing and shocking thing you've ever seen. I mean, it almost seemed like that, because I don't know how. I don't know. Let's move on. I don't want to repeat myself as one of the lovely reviewers on my Apple podcast reviews said that I repeat myself. And you know what? I do. And if you don't, it's because I think that when I repeat myself, it's a way of getting a point across in a more defining way. It's just kind of my personality. And it is, it's just me. And there's a lot of other shows out there if you don't like my style or my voice. So how about that? All right. The Women's Tag Team Championships, I was, I kicked myself. I kicked myself for not choosing the Iconics as my pick, because I had said that I'm going to stick with Bayley and Sasha, but at the same time, the Iconics scare me a lot, because they had recently been putting a lot of TV time for those two. Their chemistry is second to none. I mean, they're obnoxious, but they're supposed to be. I think that the Iconics are going to be fine champions. And to be honest with you, as big as Bayley and Sasha are, it's the tag team champions, women's tag team championships feel more relevant now than they did when they had Bayley and Sasha as the inaugural champions. Maybe because of the lack of TV time, character development, and or the fact that, when Sasha and Bayley are together, they did so much damage with them over the year and a half prior, with them loving each other, hating each other, loving each other, hating each other, that you just kind of became complacent and didn't really care about where they are anymore. So I actually like the Iconics better as champions. I'm fine with it. And I just kicked myself I didn't pick them because I had a very sneaking suspicion that Bayley and Sasha could drop the belts there. So I believe, if you guys go back and listen, because I know you guys care, is that the 2 matches out of the 16 I missed was Buddy Murphy, who ended up losing the Cruiserweight Championship to Tony Nese on the pre-show. And I should have known that if you're going to change a belt, no better time than when the most eyeballs are on you to do it. So, again, I kicked myself on that one. And obviously the SmackDown or the Women's Tag Team Championships with Bayley and Sasha losing and dropped them to the Iconics. So I was, I believe, other than that, I'm 14-2 on the night. I'll have to go back and check the scorecard. But I believe that is where my score lies. So, guys, again, if you want to get in on the call, it is on the show at 657-383-1704. That's 657-383-1704. You guys can give me your thoughts and opinions on WWE WrestleMania 35, where it ended now a little over a half hour ago, and Becky Lynch holding both belts high. By the way, if you'd like to get in on the call and you haven't pressed 1 yet, you got to press 1 on your phone. When you press 1 on your phone, you'll be able to get to the show and be able to get on the air, and I'll know that you want to chat about WrestleMania 35. So, moving down the line here, interestingly absent is Kevin Owens, Bray Wyatt, who is just kind of, I don't know, maybe making his re-debut tomorrow night on Raw. And speaking of Monday Night Raw, this is the first time in a long time that the Raw after WrestleMania, I'm not super excited for like I was in years past. Like I'm not sitting here going, oh my God, I can't wait for the follow-up. What's the follow-up? What's the follow-up? It's kind of like, oh, well, tomorrow's Monday Night Raw. It just kind of feels like it felt like a larger pay-per-view that has some unanswered questions, but a lot of things were wrapped up. And I'm excited, but excited maybe more for the audience and not for the stories. Because now WWE has to reset their whole story, reset their whole trajectory to the next pay-per-view, which is Money in the Bank, May 19th. And I understand that. It's just weird that I'm not super excited for WrestleMania, the Raw after WrestleMania, as I have been in years past. It's just a strange feeling for me. So that's I don't know. I don't know how to feel about that. Maybe I'll feel better when I wake up tomorrow morning and I get some sleep after this long wrestling filled day. And we'll have to see how that goes. Shane McMahon and The Miz. Now, that's a match that I was pleasantly surprised with. I was, number one, I love the outcome. That's kind of the theme here, right? I thought Shane going over was the right move. And kind of winning on a fluke. My prediction officially was that Shane would win, but it would be by hook or crook, meaning somebody on his behalf would be the hired hand of Shane. Instead, it was just kind of just the luck of the draw where Miz superplexed Shane from scaffolding onto this nice, comfy, basically, I don't know, cardboard-filled mats. I mean, I don't know how else to explain it. They had a nice soft landing. It still looked good. People were still chanting, holy, what, you know what. And it was cool. I mean, it was a nice visual. And having Shane just happen to get that, his landing on top of the Miz was a nice touch, and it protected the Miz and got Shane more heat for just getting lucky and being able to beat the Miz. I thought that they both brought it. I enjoyed the story they told. I think that they both did a very good job, including Shane, who I don't like as a wrestler himself. His punches are just, my God. I could throw a better punch, and I have never been inside a ring with a professional wrestler. So, but on that note, the only other negative I could say about this match wasn't even about the competitors in the match. It was about the Miz's dad, who looked about as out of place and just a kind of a wimp. I mean, he looked like he's never gotten in a fight in his life. I know that he's 67, I don't care. He stood there frozen in time and stood there with a terrible pose of fighting. And I know that maybe that's what he was scripted to do, but it just looked ridiculous. Like he just stood there and didn't move and had his hands up at a very terrible position if you're going to fight anybody. I mean, I don't know. It was just kind of like, oh my, what is this? What is this? I mean, I enjoy the Miz's dad getting involved, but I thought that for sure he would throw a punch at Shane. I don't know, something, anything. Goodness gracious. But other than that, props and mad props to both guys who I think put in an effort, physical, told a good story, and it ended the way it should have ended. So Hulk Hogan, I know I'm kind of darting all over the place, but this is the way my mind is working at 1 a.m. in the morning. The Hulk Hogan opening up the show with Alexa Bliss. Fine. I had no problem with that. I think Hulk Hogan is a building block of WWE. He is paved the way for a lot of guys, regardless of whether you love him or hate him and all of his racist comments or whatever. He is, no matter what his past is, a big part of WWE. That's just a fact. I still can't believe. Now, he tried to make a joke about the Silver Dome when he messed up at WrestleMania 30, 5 years ago. And there was a Superdome in New Orleans, and he said Silver Dome, which is where he faced Andre the Giant. I get that. But then he called MetLife Stadium MetLife Center. I don't think that was on purpose. That was an accident. Hulk Hogan, it's a running joke. Maybe that was it, but I don't think so. I don't think anyway. I'll have to check up on the dirt sheets on that one, that he purposefully called the MetLife Stadium MetLife Center. If he did, then fine, and maybe it's just a running joke that will happen every year. I don't know, but I don't think it was. I think it was just he said center instead of stadium. Yeah, unbelievable. So, other than that, yeah, we had a quick appearance from Ron Simmons to say his damn, which I always enjoy because nobody says that word like Ron Simmons. Nobody. It's just really. JBL on commentary. Look, as much as I really, really despise JBL, as at least from the consistent, not just hearsay dirt sheets, consistent reporting of JBL being a bully, and therefore I don't like who he is outside of the ring, and he does come across as kind of a bully. And I believe all of these stories from Josh Matthews, from several others. I really believe that he is probably like that or was like that, and now he has to just fake to be a nice guy. I don't like the real version of JBL. I don't like him as a person from everything I hear. He is a very entertaining color commentator. I mean, that's just the way it is. And I think he adds to the match of whatever he's in. And I'm fine with that. And I actually enjoyed the guest commentators to add a new voice to the ring and to the match that was going on. Jerry Lawler, always great on the mic. I miss him on commentary. I really, really do. I think that he is just his timing, his sayings, that the Miz is an only child and that his father said that he's still not his favorite kid. I mean, things like that. He just comes up with these sayings that are hilarious. So I love the King on color. He has always worked. He's got a knack for it. I really, really enjoyed that as well. Michael Cole started to lose his voice at the end of the night, but, I mean, what can you say about that? I'm not complaining about it because he had to act enthusiastic and sometimes overly enthusiastic for 7 hours. I mean, really, so I can't blame Michael Cole for losing his voice. And but I enjoyed the commentary overall. I think it was decent. The women's battle royal, I mean, I don't even know what to say about that. The men's battle royal with, Colin Jost and Michael Shea, whatever these jokes are, you got to be kidding me that the payoff is, okay, Braun gets his hands on him, but Braun hits a weak punch on one of them. I don't know one from the other because I don't give a damn about who they are. I really don't care. You don't know which one's which? No, I don't, because I don't care. Because I don't watch Saturday Night Live for those two clowns. But he hits one punch on one and then just lightly tosses another to a willingly kind of sea of humanity to gracefully break his fall. So that's the payoff? After all of the destruction, all of the anger built up, that's all he does? I mean, talk about kind of a falling flat payoff. And so we get Braun Strowman standing there next to Andre the Giant and posing like Andre the Giant. I mean, okay, fine. Unfortunately, that match has turned out to be a joke and kind of the catch-all for everyone that doesn't have a real program going on. It's sad. It's sad. And no one really pays attention to it. Whatever. I'm going to move on. I'm not big on negativity tonight. So, Randy Orton, AJ Styles. I'll touch on that too. I thought this was, and I tweeted this out, and I'm going to stand by it. It was your traditional 3-star Randy match where you had these guys who are professionals, who know their spots, who just very rarely have a misstep. I thought that it was a good match, but it wasn't one in which this one I thought could steal the show if we had a motivated Randy Orton and they were given enough time. So I don't really know which it was. I'm tending to think it was a non-motivated Randy Orton. And the reason I say that is because we had our in middle of the match obligatory rear chin lock. I mean, why do we always have to have that? It's just it's a momentum killer. So a good match. I think that the feud ends here, especially with the fact that AJ won clean, and there's a superstar shakeup coming up in a couple of weeks, where I think that each of these individuals will be placed on separate shows, and they should be. And by the way, the more I thought about it, is SmackDown Live really the house that AJ Styles built? Now, you might have an argument for SmackDown Live, since it went live in 2017. So fine, maybe that, and maybe that's the key word is live, because if you're talking about SmackDown in general, AJ Styles didn't build a damn thing for SmackDown itself. Randy Orton has a hell of a case there. If the argument is that, well, they're trying to one up each other on who built this place. Really? It's got to be Randy Orton. He's the elder statesman there. So there really is no argument there. But if the key word is SmackDown Live, then fine. Maybe AJ has had, and really inarguably has had, a better run than Randy Orton has since he's been up on the main roster and included in the WWE picture. So overall, guys, look, I thought WrestleMania was good. I'd give it a B because it didn't blow me away, which is keeping it from an A. While almost all of the booking is exactly what I would have done. And which is honestly, like, for me to go 14-2 is unheard of. I figured WWE would try to screw with us in one of the top 3 matches. The Kofi match was amazing, match of the night. I could have done without Byron Saxton's, and if you believe you could do anything, doesn't matter where you're from, what your background is, you could become anything. Okay, relax, Mr. Charity. Relax, Mr. Civil Rights Movement man. Okay, this is Kofi Kingston. I don't need to be told, if you believe hard enough, you can overachieve anything. Okay, wonderful. I'll tell my kids that before they go to sleep. I just hate that feel-good mushy crap, especially when there's a little bit of race tied into it. I don't need that stuff on an entertainment program. Okay, there's enough of that in politics and the news that makes me want to throw up. I don't need that shoved in my face on a wrestling show. And if you tell me, oh, well, it's just being racist, really? Well, Daniel Bryan had the exact same narrative going into WrestleMania 30, and did anybody pull race into that? No. They didn't, and it worked just fine. So, all right. Well, guys, overall, look, I enjoyed SmackDown. I probably will enjoy SmackDown this week, but WrestleMania I thought overall was a B. Again, what kept it from being an A or higher than a B, B plus, maybe a B plus player type deal, is the fact that it didn't wow me. The lack of surprises or returns, or maybe it didn't have that traditional big star feel, and maybe this is that transition year. Maybe that's what this year is for, is to build a transition and bridge from the stars of yesteryear, where we're so reliant on those stars appearing. No Undertaker. That was a bit jarring. No Undertaker. That, when you think about, maybe that's the key that was missing. I love Stone Cold, biggest and favorite of all time, but no Rock, who hasn't been there in several years now. You know, maybe if they make a big, I don't know, stage set for him with his name, he can come out with a blowtorch and light it on fire again. I mean, let's do something to entice him. I don't know. But maybe that was what was missing, was the stars of yesteryear that I rely on year after year to be there to make it feel like WrestleMania. But it's me holding on to something that I need to move forward from and need to move forward with. And that is the stars of tomorrow. And maybe that's what it is. And I need to just move on. And this is that transition year. And I need to stop using that as an expectation. And when it doesn't happen, I bring the pay-per-view down a peck. I don't know. But if it is what it is, and that's the pains of the transition. So one more comment on Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre. I liked that match. It was nothing special. It just showed you that Roman Reigns is healthy. He's good to go. I still would have had Drew McIntyre win there. I know that they wanted the cancer good moment feel, and he could go and, you know, slap hands with the latest cancer patient. And I get all that. But Drew McIntyre is the future. But so to have him lose clean to Roman, storyline-wise, I don't like it. But I know that, well, it's not about the storyline. It's about the real-life struggle of Joe, and now he's basically a walking cancer campaign for WWE. That's what he is. He's a walking charity case for cancer in WWE. That's like the best thing that could have happened to WWE. They must be in love with this. I mean, really. Again, guys, that's really my quick rundown on. I know I did not hit everything. I know there's a lot more that I could cover, and I will cover when my brain is not in the fog and it's not 1:10 in the morning. So I will do that later this week with a full rundown of WrestleMania, and of course, the Raw after WrestleMania and the SmackDown after WrestleMania. And then we are officially of WrestleMania season. It's kind of the hangover of WrestleMania coming. And we roll right into Money in the Bank, and off we go with sights set on SummerSlam. I mean, you live from kind of those mile markers, right? I mean, you go from WrestleMania to SummerSlam to Survivor Series to the Rumble to Mania. I mean, that's the kind of the big four. And I think that it's kind of always sad. It's always sad when you come off of WrestleMania, because it's after Christmas. It's like, oh, I have all my gifts, and now what? Oh, okay, yeah, I got to wait till next year. Overall, though, I give the show a B. I think it was a good show, almost perfectly booked. So I give props to WWE for that, for having the follow through, that they are indeed listening and it's not just this lip service. I still don't understand Vince McMahon's turn to just screw with everybody and screw with Kofi, screw with Becky. For what? I don't know what the payoff is there. I don't see anything. What is Vince doing on air? I don't know. Well, guys, this has been a very sleepy analysis. So I will be back later this week, much more enthusiastic and thorough look at this past week in wrestling, which is the biggest week of them all. So, guys, thank you for listening. As always, I'll talk to you next time.
Do you love bowling? Would you like to have your own half-scale bowling alley in your game room? Go to ballbowler.com. A half-scale mini bowling pin setter machine and lane can be customized and built for you. Ballbowler.com. The pin set like real full-size bowling alley machines with no strings attached. There's even real-time scoring included. It's fun for you and the whole family. Go to ballbowler.com for more information.